commentary on the game, but more of just a fact of I'm a little bit tired. So yeah, okay, straight into it. No fuck arounds. Okay. Um, yeah, first quarter was awesome. That was the quarter I didn't fall asleep for. Um, there were 8 goals between two sides. Ball was pinging back and forth. Like Sydney was just completely um, lethal whenever it came into their inside 50. It was very much Hawthorn controlling the football. But Sydney were keeping themselves in it by just not fucking up going into the 50. So really good signs for Sydney. Really good signs for Hawthorn. I like the look of both of them. Speaking of liking the look of something, um, that score bug, I really liked it. Um, I've copped flack in all of my, well, with my friends at least. They really did not like it. I kind of didn't mind it. I mean, it was a bit big, but it just looked like a ticker at the bottom of the screen. I mean, when you're watching ESPN, I mean that's the size of it usually anyway. And the main complaint that I did say, and I think is the justified one, is the little PNG image in the bottom left, not lining up with wait, yeah, it was over on this side, and it just did not line up properly, um, at all. I had a good giggle at that. I had a great time with that. Just really funny. Um, you pay all that money for graphic designs and you don't line up the fucking pixels. Oh lord. Okay. Just some nerdy shit there. Um, look, the one other thing, this is an actual thing I'll complain about. Um, the fucking SCG, dude. It is such a bad TV watching experience. Like everyone already knows like how fucked up the Buddy thing was. How there's just there's half of that shot is just a photo of the back of the lady's head. But it's just because it's on the old stand side, the camera, that it looks down on, especially on the center square. It looks down on the field at such a low angle compared to every other AFL stadium. Like even when like the game is at fucking Ballarat or something, that angle is higher than whatever the fuck they've got going on in the SCG. I don't know. Like it actually detracts from the experience. So as good of a game as that was, and as good as it's back to have footy back, the fact of the matter that this moment, the start to the 2025 AFL season, is at the SCG where it just never looks good. I am so mad. So mad. Okay, so mad's a bit of a hyperbole, but I am not happy with that at all. Anyway, all right. Yeah, I think I've already touched on this, but it was just like a fun game. It was such a fun game. Sydney and Hawthorn were just being fun little guys together. They were just having a great time. Um, yeah, footy's back. I'm happy about that. And look, I was thinking it, and then the commentators said it on the broadcast. I did flick between the Fox Footy and the Channel 7 because I also wanted to see what the Channel 7 hubbub was about, especially at the time. Um, and they were both talking about, and they were both going hard. They noticed that the umpires were both going hard on the 12-meter kicks. Um, look, I'll probably get into it, but I think that has some Oh, jeez, his head looks bad. It has some genuine implications, I think, in how teams are going to play football from now on. They won't stop doing chippy chip, but I think that they're going to be a lot more cautious doing the short kick unless they know it's going to be 15 metres, because I can remember a time Ollie Florent got caught out. Sicily got caught out because they just didn't call the full 15 metres and the full mark. Yeah, anyway, okay. I want to talk about the Swans quickly from the game. Amadi looks really, really good. I think he might make good on his potential that he showed with that 9-goal game last year. Very good first game, and if I was a Hawthorn fan, a Sydney supporter, I would be very, very happy. Roberts looked pretty good off halfback. He was getting like a lot of cheap shit, of course. He's a halfback player. But I would be very happy once again if I was a Sydney fan with what he was able to provide. Jake Lloyd, 250th. What a player. Like, really doesn't get his flowers, unfortunately. But he has just been an absolute stalwart of the Sydney football for the past, at least 12 years. I think he debuted in 2012 or 2013. What an insane player. And the heartbreak that he has had to play through with 4 grand finals and 4 grand losses. Oh, man. He deserved to win one. I think Sydney deserved to win one of those grand finals, but that's beside the point. Heaney didn't really get going. He was alright, but I wouldn't be too happy with what he was able to do. I think Nash did a really good job of shutting him down. I think it was Nash who played on him after 3/4 time. After Day got off, I think Day and Heaney were going head to head, and then it was Nash. From then on, and Nash did a great job nullifying Heaney. You'd be really happy with that. So yeah, Hawthorn. I mean, I don't know how I managed to talk about this game for 8 minutes and I mentioned Will Day yet. Outside of the last point, Will Day. He's pretty good at football. That was a pretty good first half of football. I don't want to pull his stats up because I can't be bothered. But 3 goals and then probably about 18 touches or whatever he did. In that first half, just really just gave Hawthorn every chance. And obviously they were in front, but he just really gave them every chance. Warple was really good until he went down. I think Hawthorn's really going to miss him, and it's good. But it's also good, I think, that Ward gets a chance now to maybe play some full-time mid-minutes. He should come into the side. Newcomb also probably gets less forward starting, which I think, once again, they should be happy about. And yeah, thank God. Oh my God. Jack Ginnivan and his AJ Brown reading that fucking book on the sidelines. Good on you, bro. Get your shit off. Anyway, just get your shit off, dude. So, Will Day. All right, okay. So for every single game I want to do a 5-4-3-2-1 voting system. I'm going to record all this and then award my, I don't know what I'm going to call it, the 2/3 report Goldie Award. I don't know. I was thinking Razzie. I mean, the Oscars just happened. I'm not going to call it the Oscars. I mean, okay. Anyway, my votes. Will Day, 5 votes. I think he was obviously best on. I don't think anyone else would agree with that. Disagree with that, sorry. Amon, 4 votes. Meek, 3 votes. Amadi, 2 votes. Warner, 1 vote. You may be wondering, Anthony, where's Sicily? He was like really good. Yeah, he was alright. I just, I'd rather give 2 votes to Amadi because I kind of liked what I saw from him. And these are my votes, so who gives a shit? Anyway, um, let's let's probably say that's the Hawthorn Sydney discussion over. I haven't had the chance to do this yet, so I'm gonna do this now. My AFL predictions for the 2025 season. That's the number we're up to. Okay, let's get. Oh no, not that one. I mean, no, that one. Website. Let's let's chuck this one up here. And let's get this one up. Okay. Oh wait, I can't be stuffed looking at the stats now for Will Day, but 26, 4 and 6, pretty good return. I think you're happy with that if you're Will Day. Let's just go on to Squiggle. All right, so you can kind of already see where my head's at. I did like the full Squiggle, every single game tipped, just to get an idea of where I think teams are. It's obviously not an exact science, but I think this is where I'd have my 8. I think these are the 8 teams that I see being in the 8. Maybe not in these positions specifically, but these are the 8 teams. So top 8 of Sydney, Freo, GWS, Adelaide, Brisbane, Geelong, Hawthorn, and Port Adelaide. You may notice that there is only 2 teams that do not get the support of Vic bias because they're not Victorian, or they are Victorian, sorry. Collingwood and Carlton, I think they both missed the 8. They probably split their season series. I mean, probably give up. Collingwood probably loses the away one, and Carlton loses their away one and whatever, but they're both at the MCG, so who gives a shit? And yeah, the Western Bulldogs also miss. I think they probably lose. Probably go 2 and 4 in their first 6 weeks, and they just lose. I also have Richmond only winning 1 game. I think that's kind of generous. Anyway, I really can't see Richmond. I don't think anyone can see Richmond actually doing anything. Yeah, you'd be happy that they won 3 premierships if you're a Richmond supporter, and then this is just. I wonder. Look, I know. Sorry, I was listening to the 2 Guys 1 Cup episode, and he was just like, Charlie Clausen was just like, I wonder if Richmond fans are going to turn up for this season, because there were 40,000 last year. Now with much, much, much less expectations, what actually happens? Another weird one. I don't think Essendon are only winning 3 games, but I don't see any relatively no positives from Essendon. I think they don't even get to the point where they have their end of season collapse because they just suck out of the gate. West Coast, I have winning 6. I think that's about where it is, where they are. North and West Coast, about 6. Melbourne, I probably have about 8, winning 8. St Kilda, I probably have it winning also, unfortunately, about 6. But it's just how this tipping works. I mean, if you think teams are better at the start of the season, they're probably going to win more if you do a prediction like this. So don't take the wins that I've given everyone into account, because if Collingwood and Carlton both had 14 wins and missed the 8, I think fans would petition AFL House to make it a play-in for 7 and 8, because the competition's too lopsided or whatever. I don't know. That's a bad riff. I can't really riff on that. So yeah, Gold Coast, 10 wins. I think that's about the mark. I think they probably lose more Carrara games, but then win more away games. Hopefully, I really hope that they figure out how to win away from home. Because I think they only had the Richmond game last year that they won. No, the Essendon game. The Essendon game they won away. That Mac Andrew heroics from that game. I think I've already spoken my piece about Western Bulldogs. I just think they lose too many games at the start of the season. Bevo's bottom boys are not able to keep going. Port Adelaide and Hawthorn, I would be lumping them together only because the Ken Hinkley of it all. No, I think whatever one of them does, the other one will do that as well. I think Port Adelaide are like the Utah Jazz of a couple years ago, where they just win in the regular season but can't do shit in the playoffs. Hawthorn, I don't think has that problem. I think they've got the culture to win finals. Obviously, they won 2 last year. They probably could win 2. In fact, I mean, when you look down, I have them making the grand final from 7th, but that was more about just the vibes, and I think vibes are good there. I can't see them faltering. Geelong 6th. I had them losing a couple of GMHBA games, specifically the Fremantle one in the first round. I just think Fremantle has their number there. And Freo know how to win in Geelong. Then we've got Brisbane. I'm not sure if they are outside of the 8. Sorry, outside of the top 4. Like I said, this is just a general idea. I wouldn't have them ahead of Adelaide, but I think the Joe Danaher of it all, they're really going to struggle not having him as tall timber. I don't think Hipwood is good enough to be the first option. And then, obviously, going down from Hipwood, you've got basically no other tools. Unless I think, what is it, Brandon Ryan? Who was their mid-season guy last year? I don't know. I'd have to have a proper look at how they want to set up. That comes with round 0. Adelaide 4th. I think Adelaide finally figure it out. I will forever feel so bad for Adelaide for missing the finals in 2023, because Ben Keys kicked a goal that the umpire. Yeah, okay. I don't want to bring up old wounds for that team, but I think there's 2024 and their shit year happened because they lost all confidence in themselves. I also think it's because they didn't play Jordan Dawson in the midfield nearly enough, and they were just using him as a Mr. Fix-It. I think with how good he is in the midfield, I think you just got to keep him there. Hopefully this year they will do that. And I don't know. I like Matt Crouch. I think I'd be wanting them to maybe distance themselves from full-time Matthew Crouch midfield minutes, and maybe just let Rankin loose in there. Okay, GWS, This one I actually don't. Now that I'm looking at it, I would probably want GWS seventh instead of third, because lots of discussion about them having effectively, how you say, getting very lucky last year, and then the luck running out in the two finals. I mean, was it luck or was it? I I I, I am still grateful as a Fremantle supporter that our year was just less shit than GWS going out in straight sets as they did. So we didn't get as much flack from the media. Freo too. Um, Not to be that guy, but Shai Bolton's the missing piece, and he's gonna take us into a top two finish. Um, and then one Sydney. I don't think there's any skeletons left in the closet for Sydney to find. I think Dean Cox will have them back winning, and back winning a lot. I can't see as horrible of a performance as it was last year in the grand final. I can't see them losing again. Okay, so this just ended up being how it ended up. Sydney. Okay, the grand final is just going to be Fremantle versus Hawthorn, and Fremantle going to win. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a Fremantle supporter. If that isn't abundantly clear by the purple theming, the fact that I have tipped Fremantle to win it all, um, I would be seeking help from a doctor. Yep, that's it. That's what I'm going with. Um, so yeah, let's finish this by saying who I would be having to win the major medals. Um, let's go Dacos for Brownlow. I think that's a pretty safe bet. If you want a smoky, I saw Brayshaw was paying $26 to win. I don't think he's gonna win. I think that's better value than what is letting on, purely because of Hayden Young potentially not being there for the first few weeks. I think that's the report, 3 weeks or so. Um, I'll go with Hogan back to back Coleman. I really just can't see a world where he doesn't repeat. I don't think it was a flash in the pan. I think he's definitely has the ability to put on massive performances, to say the least. Rising Star, I think it might be from North Melbourne again. Oh, is it again? I don't even know who won last year. Um, I think Finn O'Sullivan is a pretty good chance. The way he was running in the prac match, um, you could have mistaken that he was playing halfback. That's just how hard he was running into every single gap, bringing the ball out of the defensive 50. And he also was open for shots at goal. Had his teammates gone to him, he probably could have kicked 2 or 3 goals. And I think, yes, obviously teams are going to be running harder than in a practice match. So he won't be available for those easy shots at goal. However, I think there's a very real chance he will be open and he will have shots on goal and he will kick a lot of goals and he will hopefully, one, lock down that wing spot for North Melbourne, but two, win the freaking Rising Star. I think it's there for him to win. I can't really see like Levi Ashcroft. I don't think he's gonna get enough chances to stake a claim. I think he's probably sixth in line for the midfield. And playing as a half forward, I can't see him having enough of an impact to win. Let alone win votes. You can obviously see I have Fremantle winning it all. So Norm Smith. I just went with Hayden Young. He's our best player, without a doubt. So Hayden Young will win Norm Smith. And yeah, that's that. Let's see what I should be talking about next. Oh, okay. Now on to something I'm very excited about. Something that I want to come back to every single week in some capacity. Welcome everyone, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2/3 report, a bingo sheet. Yes, I think this is a fun little thing we can do, week by week. To I just read one of them. That's pretty funny. If I do say so myself, I made this about 2 months ago, in anticipation for the season. Because I knew all of these things would happen. Every single one of these things is entirely possible, and frankly, I would be surprised if all of these things didn't happen this year. Let's just start from the top left and work our way, almost snaking our way through. Let's go with the first square, the mid-season trade debate. Fairly self-explanatory, this one. I just think they're going to have this debate. Someone's going to get injured. More players are going to get injured. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it has already started with how Carlton and the Western Bulldogs and St Kilda have been absolutely decimated by injury, looking for reinforcements. So yeah, the mid-season trade debate, definitely on the cards. Let's go with the new FF stat. This one probably we would have seen it last night, had we known. Oh well, I might have to go back and watch the Fox Footy broadcast to see if there was a stat that they figured out. Actually, I might be able to tick that off. It wasn't a Fox Footy stat, but the Premier points, I think it's a new ranking system that the AFL has going. Put a pin in that one, because I think that one might have actually already hit. I think we might have our first hit outside of the free space. So this one, like I said, was done 2 months ago, and I kind of thought that there was a chance that either Matthew Nix or especially John Longmuir, is it Justin? Oh fuck, is it Justin Longmuir? Let's go with Justin Longmuir. Would be in a tricky spot come mid-season bye, and I think I can see someone getting fired mid-season. Whether that's fired or resign, I can see that happening. No, I said fired. I didn't say resign. I think that's a very real possibility of happening. Number 4 off the list is WA teams complain about travel. It's what we do. Death taxes, WA teams complaining about travel. This is kind of a free space. Whether we get discussion on solutions, I do remember Ryan Daniels' article last year. He hit the nail on the head. I think it's just a matter of creating more road trips. However, I think that's kind of hard on fans who expect to be at a game every other week. Being able to watch their team. Obviously, yes, having homestands of 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever they could end up doing. would be fun. I think the every 2 weeks makes obviously more sense. It's the home and away season. You play a home game, you play an away game. That's how it goes. Okay, randomly targeting one rule. I want to argue that we've already hit this. I mentioned it briefly earlier. The 15-meter kick was really targeted last night. They weren't letting anything go. Like, not a single chip kick was. And like I'll say it again. The SCG camera angle, absolute dog shit. You can't even really tell. Like, you can tell sometimes when the 15 meters are kicked, but it's so bad. Anyway, change the buys debate. I don't want to say that this is already hit, because it was more about just get rid of opening round. But I probably would want the buys to be changed. Just make it a mid-season break, and then have the trade period, the mid-season trade period, and then have your mid-season draft in there, and have a mini off-season in the middle of the season, because the fucking AFL season is long these days. Football started the first week of March, and it ends final Saturday of September. That is basically 6 months of football. Wait, is that right? March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7 months of football. And then you've got the 2 months afterwards of the draft, and then the fucking trade period. An absolute joke, by the way. Oh, awesome take, Anthony. You think the trade period's a joke. Anyway, okay. We're off track right now. Let's, free space. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. Bont is 40-4. Might have to wait a while for this one, unfortunately. If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said Bont Brownlow, and Bont actually does it. He gets his Brownlow, and it does remind me. I only saw the thumbnail of it, but I got the general gist of the video. The AFL has the Brownlow has a Bont problem, as in the fact that Bont doesn't have a Brownlow is a problem of the Brownlow. Anyway, that's beside the point. Someone kicks 10 goals. Amadi was gonna kick 10 goals last year. Longmire was an absolute arsehole not leaving him out there to kick 10. I think we get someone kicking 10 this season. I'm not gonna. I'll shoot my shot. I'll shoot. I think we get a Nick Larkey 10-goal haul at some point. I think we would be remiss as a country to not get a 10-goal Nick Larkey performance. Okay, this one's a fun one. Freo miss finals. I just said a season predictor where I said Hayden Young's going to win the Norm Smith, and usually that means that team is going to win the premiership. And hey, yeah, I had Fremantle winning the premiership. So I think I have this as just like a fail-safe, if I don't win, at least there's something ticked off on the bingo card. Oh, okay. That's cool. The grand final day night debate. Oof, that's a fun one. That's a real fun one. You would notice that I have a lot of debates. I have them all 3 in a row because I think they're all just guaranteed to happen. Which is why I also had the Kane Farrell AA squad selection. I'm getting off topic. That's too far away. We can't talk about that yet. That's not good. Um, it, I just keep it during the day. Who gives like? We don't need a fucking spectacle. It doesn't need to be a spectacle. It can just be football. It can be the grand final. Yes, would have Katy Perry's performance looked better during the night? Of fucking course it would have. It would have looked wonderful. However, that's not what we do. That is not what we have done. We will not do that, and I think if the AFL tries to make the night grand final a thing, it's just another tradition loss, unfortunately. Okay, gotta keep going quicker. New disposal record. I'm actually not that confident in this right now, but I do think by the time Nick Dacos's career has finished, he will hold that record for most disposals, and that's my big prediction. You can put that on all of the infographics that are going to be made after this, that I will probably have to end up making. Sorry. I wanted to do that. A 120 point loss. Yeah, Richmond is going to be really bad this year, would you believe? And I think they're going to be so bad that a team just shows absolutely no fucking mercy and just puts 120 on them. I think what would we consider what would you consider a differential that you have lapped someone? I'm going to say 40 points is one lap. If you put 40 points, if you win by 40 points, you have lapped your opposition. I think that Richmond are going to get lapped 3 times in a game based on that conversion rate that I've just generated. Kane commentating on Bevo, I mean, is the sky blue? Another easy one. I just wanted another one. You know, I want to make sure some of these get hit. Some of these hit. You know, player gets off on a technicality, a la Patrick Cripps a couple years ago, getting off and being able to still win the Brownlow. I think that was the Brownlow, yeah, whatever. Yes, the Kane Farrell All-Australian squad. Like I said 2 months ago, I thought Kane Farrell was going to be the guy to replace Dan Houston at Port. It's increasingly looking like it might be Logan Evans. It might even be Jeremy fucking Finlayson. I don't even know how that happened. Carlton collapse. I want to see it. I want to see it. I fucking hate Carlton. I've such hate. I hate when Fremantle play Carlton because they're a bogey side for us. We're gonna lose it, but I just want, if Fremantle could pummel Carlton at any point by 100 points, that would be really nice. I think I would shake the hands of every single player and medical staff and coach who played in that game. I think, I would buy a match-worn Guernsey if that happened. If Fremantle won by 100 points against Carlton, and then I'd frame it in my house, not my house. Yes, yeah. Team loses 10 straight. Pretty self-explanatory. This is just, you may as well just circle Richmond on this. Oof. Don't need to talk about them anymore. Oh my lord. Player gambling scandal. We've seen a lot of NBA players get screwed over with gambling. Not to say that this isn't already happening, like players gambling on games. I have no doubt in my mind that this is already happening. I just think the AFL are such pussies about everything that they just let it happen like they do with the drugs. So yeah, let's playing surface concerns. I think Optus Stadium is just guaranteed to be under fire for their lower leg injuries. It just happens. Prison bars, just so Eddie McGuire will say something. Speaking of, we obviously see that Eddie McGuire says some bullshits. Thing over there. It's a free space. He says something stupid. Would you? Who would have thought? Umpire abuse. I'm talking like bottle to head. Obviously umpires get verbally abused all game, every game, all 9 games of the every AFL round for the entire AFL season. But I think we might see some fans throwing punches on umpires because of gambling, of something else, bad calls, team losing, etc. Bombers fall apart. I actually don't get any joy out of the Bombers falling apart. It just seems like every single year they get off to a hot start, or they start well. They're in a position where they could challenge for finals, and then they just halfway through the year they find a way to not do that. I don't want it to happen. I don't want them to be shit. They unfortunately just are. So yeah, it's a sad existence for Bombers fans, but I think that's just how it goes. I do want them. I do wish them success because they've gone through a lot of shit. Okay, Richmond winless season. I feel like I already did that. I feel like I did that multiple times in this. Richmond are going to suck really bad. This is another thing I will continue to reiterate. They suck. They're so bad at this. Anyway, this being AFL football, they are a VFL side at best. Anyway, so that is the 2/3 report, 2025 bingo card. Let me know, tweet at me if you think I'm gonna get bingo. If I'm gonna fill out my card, I can't. I mean, I have Kane Farrell all Australian squad. But let me know. Let me know how I'll go. Okay. I want to have this show done by 9 o'clock, so we're gonna quickly speed through this next thing. We have got the official Anthony. What's my name again? The Anthony. You know what? Yeah, the Anthony Chaliangis AFL fantasy team. They're not 15 play on official team. I want to start on my midfield because you know what? That's where all the fun happens. That's the line that really matters. Number 1, Jordan Dawson. Oof. He looked really good in the practice matches. I am such a fan of him and how he plays, and I think Nix isn't fucking around this season. Next up, I've got Connor Rozee. If you want to quickly look at the run, Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon, St Kilda, first 4 matches. I could see him going 110 easy in that first stretch. That already puts him 13 points ahead of his price. And by the 4th game, he should actually be priced at about 105. So, I think you're doing pretty good there. Another no-brainer pick, Clayton Oliver. Clayton needs to be operating at 70% of what he was capable of a couple of years ago for him to be a good pick. Priced at 77.7. He's going to do 95 minimum, and that is more than enough for him to be a good pick. So he's selected. After last night, Will Day well and truly finds himself into the squad. I had to make some changes, especially in my ruck line, to accommodate Will Day. I think you can't miss what he will be able to provide in terms of cash generation. I think I think this is his updated break even. I think he will be rolling out a break even of 30 for the Essendon game. And that in it is more than enough. He'll probably be 850-ish if he puts another 100 on in terms of pricing, and I think that's really good for anyone who selects him off the bat. Now we've got Adam Cerra in at M5. This is more of I think his ownership is going to increase quite a bit. I think he's safer than Ollie Hollands. I have toyed with having Ollie Hollands. He's spelled like Hollands, isn't he? Like that, isn't he? Yeah. I have toyed with having Hollands in this spot. Technically, he's underpriced based on what he was doing in the last 5. I mean, he's 37 points unders. I don't know if I can have Cerra and Ollie in the same team just for cash reasons, but I think that is a very viable play that people should 100% consider. Next up, Nathan O'Driscoll in at M6. Yeah, M6. He is going to have that wing lockdown. He's not going to get subbed off. He's going to do at least 70, price at 50. That's already better than what a rookie can do. I would be very happy. I would be very happy, man, to see him succeed in my fantasy team. Next up, we got Finn O'Sullivan. Obviously, I said before my pick for the Rising Star. I think he's going to be a revelation on that wing for North Melbourne. In a year that doesn't really... Look, there will be positives, of course, but I wouldn't be too confident in them. Levi Ashcroft just goes without saying. Next up, Xavier Lindsay, just another rookie. I really don't actually know that much about the rookies this year, but I have heard good things about him. He sounds like he's going to basically slot into the Neil Bullen role. Or if not, he'll have a wing spot that is vacated from Ed Langdon because he's going to go into the middle. So yeah, I would be very excited. Next up, Murphy Reid. He probably will get subbed off. I have such faith in his ability to score, his ability to impact the game, that I'm very happy to pick him off the bat. Let's just go with the forward line because that's the next easiest line to pick. Number 1 off the bat, for the same reason that I'm picking Rosie, Jason Horne-Francis can slot into my number 1 spot in the forward line. He is just... he's an absolute jet. He's an impact player, of course, but he is so far ahead of everyone else, I think, especially to start the season. I think he could very much do 105 to start, and even then, probably go at least 105 for the year. So I want him. I want Jackson McRae. St Kilda just looks like an absolute perfect match for him and what he brings. Next up, I'm going Bailey Smith. Actually, I don't know why the pricing is kind of weird. So I'm going to put Bailey Smith there, and I'm going to add in Sanders. Riley Sanders. I think he probably goes at about 85, so he's got 22 points of upside in my head. Especially without Bont for the first 6 weeks or so. he should be a very good stepping stone to getting to a better mid forward. Okay, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's get Caleb Daniel selected. He's going to be the main guy off halfback. We've seen what Aaron Hall, we've seen what Jack Zeeble has done in the past. I am such a fan of Caleb, despite what he did to me a couple of years ago at Ballarat. But we've moved past it. I think we've talked about it. We know what's up, and we're excited for the new season. Next up, another St Kilda midfielder, probably the third guy in line, Hugo Garcia. If you can pick a guy who's going to be the third midfielder, price at 44, you pick him. There's no other way around it. Let's get this forward line completely sorted now. Sam Davidson, his performance on that wing in the preseason game against Hawthorn, utterly ridiculous. He's going to be the guy on the wing. A lot of wings picked, but I mean, it just works. I feel like wingers are like the running backs of the AFL. They're like valued, but like you got to be like a really good winger to be valued. You know what I mean? And they kind of just no, that doesn't work. That analogy doesn't work. Don't worry about that analogy. Another St Kilda player, Boxall. He looks pretty good. I'm happy. I'd be happy with him. And I think as a third mid, he'll do well. He will do well. Okay. Should I do my? You know what? Let's set my defensive line first. Probably a bit of a smoky pick. But I've got Tom Stewart off the bat. He plays Fremantle and then St Kilda in his first two. Fremantle's a little bit harder for defenders to score against, but St Kilda obviously is quite literally the easiest matchup of all time for defenders. At least I feel like it is. He should be getting some mid-time based on what Chris Scott has said, and because he'll have that mid-time, he'll have multiple avenues to scoring, especially if he does the thing where he goes into the midfield and then rolls back as the spare. I am majorly looking forward to Tom Stewart and what he able to bring. Jaden Short is the next guy off the rank. It's going to be in the Richmond backline. They're going to suck this year, and he will be the guy sucking. Yep, he'll be the guy sucking. Matt Roberts, we saw what he was able to do last night. He was getting a bunch of cheap shit, not from kickouts, but from kick-ins. Let's hope. Okay, you got to be kind of concerned that it was basically Nick Blakey and Nick Blakey only kicking it to Roberts, and that was the difference between him getting an 80 and him getting a 103 or whatever he ended up with. There is a little bit of concern there that those points could definitely dry up if there was more pressure applied to old mate Blakey. But until then, he gets picked. Next up, Harry Perryman. Easy to look good against the Richmond team in the first round, but we get to see him tomorrow against his old side. There's every chance he puts up a 110, 100, and just makes himself a no-brainer pick. Next guy, Joel Frazier. He is going to be very good. He already was very good last year to finish the season. Going at 80 to finish, he seemed to pick up the halfback role. Almost also came onto a wing as well, but very good young player. Joe Addison's injured, and Dale seems like the other guy on that back line, so I'm going to go with him. And then finally, I'm going to go Sam De Koning. He should have the ruck roll. He was able to... I think he turned up as a ruckman last year, so I have full faith in his ability. Honestly, these defensive rookies don't really matter. Luke Trainer, I think he's going to get a couple of gigs. In the Richmond backline, I wouldn't be confident in him scoring very well, but he will score. Speaking of Reid, Archer Reid, he's going to be the guy for West Coast. And then probably the biggest change, I've got Briggs in here, but this very well could be Meek, and this very well could be Darcy Cameron, depending on who scores the most. I want someone who's going to have a couple of price rises, will have a buy, and will allow me to pivot to someone like a Cherry, like a Rowan Marshall, like an English, whoever's going to be the best possible player. And then finally, final spot, no surprises here, De Koning. We will be picking both De Konings to start the year. In this house, we pick both De Konings. He is my R2, and I think he is actually most people's R2. 40%, yeah. He should be good. Full stop. No Pitane. Solo ruck. I think he was going at about 95 without Pitane, and that's what brought his average down. So, yeah, that is where I am at with my team. I think this is a pretty good squad starting side. It is vanilla enough with some riskier choices. This Tom Stewart and Kieran Briggs, D1 R1 specifically. Everything else is pretty generic, but honestly, that's what you need in a starting fantasy team. So that is what I'm going with. Just quickly, I want to do a quick tweet of the night, or tweet of the week. And it was on something that I briefly mentioned at the start of the stream. The Fox Footy billboard. This one comes in from the Falcon, a footy podcast. And they say, nah, make it bigger, cowards. In reference to the Fox Footy score bug that they unveiled. He has edited the video to be half of the screen. You can't see Chad Warner. Bottom half, sorry. But you can you can find Chad Warner's bottom half. No. Anyway, let's finish this. This little shindig. Thank you very much for watching. If you are watching this back on YouTube, please go give me a follow on Twitch and check me out when I live stream. I'm gonna be live streaming for an hour after every single game on the Saturday night. And I think this should be a good thing to do, just to talk about the AFL in a light-hearted-ish way. I don't know. I had fun. I had fun doing this, and that's all that matters. As long as I have fun, that's all that matters. Good bit, Anthony. Thanks, Anthony. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you guys later. Peace.